literate in 3 languages? Are they even literate in 2 languages? Do government school students in say Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and Madhya Pradesh proficient in Hindi, English and a third language? So this is just a smokescreen to impose Hindi upon Tamil Nadu. In fact, the insidious plan of the BJP would be, once they say third language, the third language inevitably will be Hindi. They will say that Tamil Nadu does not have adequate Hindi teachers. So since we are funding it, we will send Hindi teachers from the north of India, and these Hindi teachers will come and distort our culture. In fact, they will play into the RSS's agenda and perhaps teach children that Godse is a hero and Mahatma Gandhi must be vilified.
All right, talking about the several reactions that have come in from the DMK and other words coming from DMK MP Kanimodi, who's also slammed the central government and says the education minister has hurt sentiments of people of Tamil Nadu and has also accused the education minister of using unparliamentary language. Listen in.
What we saw on the floor of the Lok Sabha between Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan and the DMK side, now DMK is planning to bring a privilege motion on that. What exactly
we will discuss with our leader, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, and decide how to take it forward.
Okay, we heard him make a comment about you also, saying the Chief Minister's sister is sitting there. Is that also something that you take strong affront to?
Yes, definitely, because I'm here to represent the people of Tamil Nadu, and people have elected me. Just because I'm the sister of the Chief Minister does not mean that you can demean me, using that. And I also, as a sister, know that the Chief Minister has never accepted the 3-language policy, or has he said here we will accept the new education policy. So what the minister said is far, far, far from the truth.
But he insisted that you were making a U-turn. He also said Super CM suddenly intervened.
No, this is not, he calls us uncivilized. Are these unparliamentary words, and is the minister, especially the Minister of Education, should he be using words like this?
But do you think...
calling people names, calling an elected Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, isn't this insulting the people of Tamil Nadu?
Going across to my colleague Purnima, who joins us with more details. Purnima, very clear where the DMK sentiment lies, but equally forceful was the response that came in from the education minister in the parliament, who accused the DMK of being dishonest. In fact, said that the party had taken a U-turn as far as the PM Shri scheme implementation in Tamil Nadu is concerned. Can you give us a little bit of context to that, and whether or not we've heard the DMK give a pointed rebuttal to that particular critical claim?
Well, in fact, what the BJP and the ADMK have said so far is that the same DMK that's opposing NEP had also welcomed PM Shri schools, which again means that they will follow the 3-language formula. So why the double standards? And that was once again echoed by the Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan in the Parliament today. And DMK responding to that, in fact, MK Stalin, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, on social media platform X, shared the letter that was written from the Union Minister to MK Stalin in 2024. And in that letter, the Union Minister states that while an MOU has been signed by the DMK government, I have omitted the last paragraph, which talks about 3-language formula. Why did they send a revised draft without the mention of NEP? So clearly, the DMK says that we are not doing politics here. We have made it very clear that while we welcome the PM Shri schools, the NEP part alone was not approved by us, and that it's the union government that's lying. We've always stuck to what we believe in, which is a 2-language formula, and it's the BJP that's trying to spread lies. So that's the word that's coming in from the DMK, but clearly both parties sticking to their stance. The BJP says it's the DMK that's making this as a political issue, while the DMK time and again says that they from 1950s have always stuck to the 2-language formula, and that is what was conveyed to Dharmendra Pradhan also in a letter, is something that the DMK says in rebuttal.
Purnima, one aspect to this is, of course, the manner in which the DMK in Tamil Nadu is strictly opposing the idea of a three-language formula being implemented in the state. The other aspect is that of Hindi imposition. Congress MP Karti Chidambaram also gave a very interesting reaction. He said teachers from North India are being brought to Tamil Nadu to get away with the manner in which there are just two languages that have in principle been followed in Tamil Nadu. They want to impose Hindi, so on and so forth. But all of those concerns have been dispelled by the central government, isn't it? There's going to be an option given to the students to opt for whichever language appeases them.
Well, absolutely. That's something the BJP says. Why link NEP to Hindi imposition? It could be any Indian language, not necessarily Hindi. Students will be given an opportunity to learn a third language, which could be any Indian language. Why is the DMK linking NEP to Hindi imposition? And in response to that, DMK, its allies, even the main opposition, the AIADMK, have said that so far, especially in government schools, they've always followed the two-language formula, and Tamil is given priority. And the third language will obviously mean that it is mostly Hindi, because here they believe that even Kendra Vidyalaya schools, where three languages are followed, Hindi and Sanskrit are given priorities, and that's something that they don't want. They don't want Tamil to be given lesser importance. That's the reply that the DMK, the allies, and also other parties, barring the BJP, has given as far as NEP is concerned. They say that it's not directly implying Hindi imposition, but Hindi will be given priority, as they say that it's seen in other North Indian states. They don't want a replica of that in Tamil Nadu as well, where Tamil is given lesser priority.
Okay, many thanks, Purnima, for putting that in perspective. So the story is not really moved forward. We've just seen it essentially play out and repeat itself in the parliament of the country as both the houses reconvened amid the ongoing budget session. For now, we shift our attention to how India's triumph over New Zealand in the ICC Champions Trophy final also worryingly ignited a wave of celebrations that turned violent. That's the concern which has been raised by many, at least in two states. We're talking about one incident in Hyderabad. Dilsukh Nagar is where the police had to resort to lathi charge to control the crowd. Enthusiastic fans took to streets to rejoice, waving flags, bursting crackers. However, as the gathering grew larger, law enforcement had to intervene, citing security concerns and traffic disruptions. The BJP also slammed the Congress over the action and said that people are not being allowed to celebrate the victory of the Indian team. In Madhya Pradesh, parallelly, and this is in Mau in MP, violence erupted after stones were thrown at a cricket victory rally, leading to arson and also arrest of 13 people. The situation, though, is now under control, but these violent protests have stirred a heated political exchange. Listen in.
कांग्रेस की सरकार तेलंगाना के अंदर लोगों को इंडियन क्रिकेट टीम की जीत की बधाई और जीत की खुशी में सेलिब्रेट करने नहीं दे रही है। वो लोगों को अरेस्ट कर रही है और यही दर्शाता है कि आज पूरा देश खुश है, पूरा देश यूनाइटेड है, क्योंकि इंडियन टीम रोहित शर्मा की कैप्टनसी में चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी जीती है। परंतु शमा मोहम्मद, कांग्रेस पार्टी की सरकार, राहुल गांधी, ये अंदर से ये सब के सब दुखी हैं, क्योंकि इनने इंडियन टीम के मोरल को कम करने का पूरा प्रयास किया, उसके बावजूद इंडियन क्रिकेट टीम जीती है। कांग्रेस पार्टी कॉमन सिटीजन्स को तेलंगाना के अंदर इंडियन क्रिकेट टीम के सेलिब्रेशन को रोककर ये दर्शा दिया कि उनकी मानसिकता जनरल टायर वाली मानसिकता है।
The Bharatiya Janata Party Telangana congratulates the Champions Trophy winners, that is India, Rohit Sharma and team, for the spectacular performance. 140 crores people are watching this match, and India has won thumpingly. So we will just congratulate on that. Unable to digest the loss of MLC seats, the Congress party, in one way or other, they wanted to disturb the gathering where the celebrations are happening in Telangana, especially in Dilsukh Nagar area. We condemn this kind of action. The Telangana police should be very, very watchful, which should be very careful while handling this, the sensitive issues.
I want to go across to my colleague PV Ramana, who joins us from Hyderabad for a detailed perspective on what really transpired and called for this kind of intervention on part of the police personnel. PV, tell us what really happened. Was this a busy route? Was prior permission taken, or was it residents in the nearby area just trickling in slowly that led to this kind of overcrowding, eventually creating a traffic problem?
Yeah, yesterday evening after completion of the final match, India winning the Champions Trophy, all the youngsters and especially students and youngsters of the district area came down. Of course, it's happened in the across Hyderabad, but the place where the incident was taking place is it's a Dilshuk Nagar area. There are lot of youngsters and students who comes from the remote village and they will stay there in the hostels and they will study for the competitive exams and other examinations. So, of course, they are staying in the hostels after completion of their food. In fact, while they are having the food, they watched the movie and watched the cricket match, and they came out and they started celebrating the victory of India. They first took the flags and they were cracking the firecrackers, and everything was happened. That the Dichuknagar area, which is the incident is happening. Of course, it's a national highway kind of thing. So, of course, from the next stage, next stop after the Dichuknagar is LB Nagar. LB Nagar is the area which leads to which leads to Vijayawada city. After 10 o'clock, there will be huge rush, and all the buses which goes to Vijayawada and other places will start at the night 9 o'clock at 9 to 10 o'clock in the evening. So all the crowd will be gathered over there. All the people, all the passengers, traffic will be gathered over there. And after this incident, a lot of people, a lot of youngsters were gathered for the celebration. So it has created some obstacles for the traffic itself. So the people wanted, of course, people also wanted to clear the road because they were stuck in the traffic jams where they are unable to, of course, they are unable to catch the buses and all. So in that scenario, the police were intervened in the issue, and the police were trying to get out the people from the roads, and they wanted to clear the traffic. In fact, in that incident, some of the students, some of the youngsters were started the slogans against the police and slogans against the entire incident. So that police started the minor lathi charge. Some of the few students, were injured and they were shifted to the hospital.
Okay, so are you telling us, PV, that the lathi charge wasn't unprovoked completely, that the police had its own reasons to go after some of these students who were on the streets protesting on the roads, which also led to the roads being choked, leading to a lot of traffic situation for the commuters, because there's a political angle to it as well. The BJP is slamming the Congress in Telangana and is saying that this is reflective of a general dire mindset of the Congress party.
Yeah, actually, here the question is the police readiness of the police. In fact, after the India victory, definitely people will come out and people will celebrate, because we can see the lot of people, huge gathering near Secretariat and other places near Secretariat and Tank Bund in the Hyderabad. That will be happening in the Dichuknagar area also. Police have to take the preventive actions for the entire celebrations and all. If they wanted to do, they can provide some places for them, because that is the time around 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock. There will be huge traffic will go from that particular place, because they have to catch the buses, they have to leave the Hyderabad from the same way. So that is the main incident, incident behind this entire incident. We can think, and of course, police wantedly did it, but police they should not do that, because the police readiness for the entire handling the entire situation is a question mark here. That's why it is become
because this was a big prize tournament, and on expected lines, the fans would have responded if this win went India's way, and that's exactly what happened. But thank you, PV, for joining us with all those details. I want to take in a word from Manoj Sharma on what really transpired in Mao's Madhya Pradesh as well. Manoj, take it away. Tell us what happened in contrast to what happened in Hyderabad, which is where police were seen lathi charging some of those who ended up coming onto the streets, blocking the traffic essentially. What we saw was stone pelting on part of a certain people while these celebrations were underway. So what really transpired there?
Yeah, in fact, there was celebration after India's victory in Champions Trophy. But what is important here, police have already registered 3 FIRs. In one FIR, there are 17 people who have been named there, and of them, 13 have been arrested by the police. There are 2 other FIRs in which others are accused, and they are being identified on the basis of video footage, which is already there in the possession of police. So they are acting swiftly, and in fact, NSA, administration, also seriously contemplating invoking NSA against all these accused who were involved in this arson and stone pelting in Mau after celebration of Champions Trophy. So politics is also happening. BJP Congress is alleging that this is failure of law and order in Madhya Pradesh, particularly in Mau. Why there was no intelligence? Why they have got no information that such rioting is going to take place? So they are alleging that the opposition is alleging that this is law and order failure in Madhya Pradesh. But on the other hand, police have been acting swiftly.
What's also worrying is the communal undertone to the entire arson that unfolded in Madhya Pradesh's Mau. Thank you, Manoj, for joining us with those details. Mithilesh gets us more in this ground report from Mau.
चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी में भारत की जीत के जश्न के दौरान इंदौर की महू में हुई हिंसा के बाद अब हालात जो है पूरी तरीके से काबू में है, लेकिन देर रात यहाँ की स्थिति तनावपूर्ण हो गई थी। देखते ही देखते एक साथ अलग अलग 3 स्थानों पर पत्थरबाजी की घटना सामने आई, आगजनी की घटना सामने आई, लोगों घर में जमकर पथराव किया गया और यहाँ तक कि मंदिर को भी निशाना बनाया गया। और इस वक्त मैं पत्ती बाजार चौराहे पर मौजूद हूँ और ये तस्वीर यहाँ से हम दिखा रहे हैं कि मंदिर पर भी पथराव किया गया और जो आसपास में हिंदू मकान है, जो हिंदू रहते हैं, उनके मकानों पर जमकर पत्थरबाजी की गई। उनकी जो नीचे गाड़ियां खड़ी थी उसे आग के हवाले कर दिया गया। यहाँ के लोग मौजूद हैं, उनसे सीधे बातचीत करेंगे। आपके भी घर में जमकर पत्थरबाजी की गई?
जी हाँ, मेरे घर पे जैसे ही जुलूस खत्म हुआ वैसे ही 500-700 की भीड़ इकट्ठी हुई। एक वर्ग विशेष की वो लगातार पत्थर फेंके और पत्थर करीब आधे से पौन घंटे 1 घंटे तक के पत्थर कंटिन्यू फेंकते रहे। नीचे दुकान में आग लगा दी और ऊपर पत्थर फेंक रहे थे। सामने मंदिर था, मंदिर पे भी खूब पत्थर फेंका इस दौरान।
विवाद की वजह क्या रही? क्यों लगातार ये लोग टारगेट कर रहे थे हिंदू परिवारों को, लगातार पत्थर फेंक रहे थे, आगजनी की घटना को अंजाम दिया, पेट्रोल बम भी फेंके?
विवाद की तो कोई वजह नहीं थी, बस हो सकता है इनको इंडिया भारतीय जीत हजम नहीं हुई, तकलीफ हो उसका।
क्या कुछ नारेबाजी भी लगाई?
देश विरोधी नारेबाजी की गई, नारे तकबीर अल्लाह अकबर, कई विवादित नारे भी लगाए इस दौरान और कंटिन्यू नारे लगाते हुए पत्थर फेंक रहे थे।
लगभग कितने घंटे तक उपद्रवियों ने उपद्रव मचाया?
1 से 1.5 घंटे तक के उपद्रवियों ने लगातार खूब उपद्रव मचाया। हिंदू घरों को चुनिंदा हिंदू घरों को टारगेट किया, पत्थर फेंके, आग लगाई, पेट्रोल बम फेंके और इस दौरान धमाके की भी आवाज़ आई। तो हो सकता है गोली भी चलाई हो या कोई बम फेंका हो।
इंडिया न्यूजीलैंड मैच के बाद कुछ जुलूस निकल रहे थे जिसमें कुछ लोगों ने मस्जिद के बाहर पटाखे चलाए, जिसके बाद दोनों पक्षों में विवाद की स्थिति उत्पन्न हुई और दोनों तरफ से पथराव हुआ। पुलिस बल जो है वो पूरी तरह यहाँ पे मौजूद है और लगातार पेट्रोलिंग भी कर रहा है। अभी यहाँ पे पूरी तरह से शांति बनी हुई है। अभी कुछ लोगों को चिन्हित किया हुआ है और उन पे पुलिस बहुत सख्त कार्रवाई भी कर रही है। पुलिस उनको और बाकी लोगों को भी आपके माध्यम से मैसेज भी देना चाहती है कि कोई भी किसी तरह की अफवाह में न विश्वास करे और न ही कोई तरह की अफवाह फैलाए। अभी यहाँ पे 3 लोगों के घायल होने की सूचना मिली।
देखिए, उसमें 2 तरह की बातें सामने आ रही हैं कि कुछ लोगों ने जीत का जश्न मनाने का सबको हक है, लेकिन किसी को जाके उकसाना, और ये कई बार हम लोगों ने भारतीय जनता पार्टी शासित राज्यों में ये दृश्य देखा है कि जाके उकसाना और हंगामा करना वो भी ठीक नहीं है। तो इसकी पूरी जांच कराई जाए, कौन पक्ष इसके लिए जिम्मेदार है, वो मुस्लिम पक्ष हो, हिंदू पक्ष हो, सबके ऊपर कार्रवाई कीजिए।
उसी समय बात हो गई थी प्रशासन से, कलेक्टर, एसपी, आईजी से कि आप तुरंत जाके देखिए आखिर क्या हुआ। इंडिया जीतने पर हर किसी को खुशी होना चाहिए, न कि कोई ऐसी घटनाएं घटना चाहिए। एसपी कलेक्टर से बात भी हुई, उन्होंने तुरंत उस स्थिति को कंट्रोल किया है और अभी स्थिति ठीक है। ऐसे लोगों के लिए मेरा ये कहना है कि उन पे कार्रवाई होना चाहिए जो इतना अच्छा माहौल को इसमें तब्दील कर रहे हैं। तो गलत है, उन पे कड़ी कार्रवाई होगी। वीडियो दिख रहा है, हमारे प्रशासन के लोगों पे भी कुछ लगे हैं, कुछ गाड़ियां, मोटरसाइकिल और कारें वो भी जलाई है। तो उसके लिए कोई ऐसे असामाजिक तत्व होते हैं जो इसे मौके के फायदा उठा के हमारे शासन को बदनाम करने का षड्यंत्र जो रच रहे हैं, उनके ऊपर कार्रवाई होना चाहिए।
All right, with that, it's time for us to head into a very short break. Lots more lined up from across the country when we return. Stay tuned to CNN News 18.
In first place, the next Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, with 100. and 31,674 votes, resulting in 29,457 allocated points, representing 85.9% of the vote.
My government will put into action our plan to build a stronger economy, to create new trading relationships with reliable trading partners, and to secure our borders. There's someone who's trying to do the opposite. There's someone who's trying to weaken our economy. Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, as we know, has put, as the Prime Minister just said, unjustified tariffs on what we build, on what we sell, on how we make a living. He's attacking Canadian families, workers, and businesses, and we cannot let him succeed. And we won't. We won't. The Canadian government has rightly retaliated and is rightly retaliating with our own tariffs that will have maximum impact in the United States and minimum impact here in Canada. And my government will keep our tariffs on until the Americans show us respect. The Americans want our resources, our water, our land, our country. Think about it. If they succeeded, they would destroy our way of life. In America, healthcare is a big business. In Canada, it is a right. America is not Canada. And Canada never, ever will be part of America in any way, shape, or form. Look, we didn't ask for this fight. We didn't ask for this fight. But Canadians are always ready when someone else drops the gloves. So the Americans, they should make no mistake, in trade as in hockey, Canada will win. So Donald Trump thinks he can weaken us with his plan to divide and conquer. Pierre Poilievre's plan will leave us divided and ready to be conquered. Because a person who worships at the altar of Donald Trump will kneel before him, not stand up to him. I know that these are dark days. Dark days brought on by a country we can no longer trust. We are getting over the shock, but let us never forget the lessons. We have to look after ourselves, and we have to look out for each other. We need to pull together. When we come together, we build things that last because we are Canada strong. Vive le Canada! Merci tout le monde.
In first place, the next Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, with 131,674 votes, resulting in 29,457 allocated points, representing 85.9% of the vote.
My government will put into action our plan to build a stronger economy, to create new trading relationships with reliable trading partners, and to secure our borders. There's someone who's trying to do the opposite. There's someone who's trying to weaken our economy. Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, as we know, has put, as the Prime Minister just said, unjustified tariffs on what we build, on what we sell, on how we make a living. He's attacking Canadian families, workers, and businesses, and we cannot let him succeed. And we won't. We won't. The Canadian government has rightly retaliated and is rightly retaliating with our own tariffs that will have maximum impact in the United States and minimum impact here in Canada. And my government will keep our tariffs on until the Americans show us respect. The Americans want our resources, our water, our land, our country. Think about it. If they succeeded, they would destroy our way of life. In America, health care is a big business. In Canada, it is a right. America is not Canada. And Canada never, ever will be part of America in any way, shape, or form. Look, we didn't ask for this fight. We didn't ask for this fight. But Canadians are always ready when someone else drops the gloves. So the Americans...
Welcome back. You're watching Nation at 5. Well, a controversy has taken place in Jammu and Kashmir over an outdoor fashion show that was recently held in the picturesque ski resort of Gulmarg. Several political leaders and netizens on social media have described the event as quote-unquote obscene as it took place during the holy month of Ramadan. In fact, Chief Minister Omar Abdullah's office has also said that there was shock and anger, and completely understandable at that. That's being seen on social media and otherwise, and has also ordered that a report be submitted within 24 hours based on which action will be taken. Now, this is a video that's gone viral which shows models walking down the snow-covered ramp at this fashion show organized by fashion designer duo of Shivam and Naresh, who have also issued an apology. But let's begin by playing out first up the reaction that's coming from Chief Minister Omar Abdullah.
एक फैशन शो का ऑर्गेनाइजेशन किया गया था। उस फैशन शो में कुछ ऐसी बातें सामने आई, कुछ ऐसा वहां पे उसमें हिस्सा लिया गया जिससे कि लोगों के जज्बात को ठेस पहुंची, और कुछ लोगों ने ये कहा कि रमजान के पाक महीने में ये नहीं होना चाहिए था। मैं तो ये मान के चलता हूं कि जो मैंने देखा वहां पर वो तो रमजान छोड़िए, साल के किसी भी दिन वो नहीं होना चाहिए। लेकिन मैं एक बात यहां क्लियर करना चाहता हूं, हुकूमत की तरफ से इसमें कोई रोल नहीं था। ये प्राइवेट पार्टी थी, लेकिन इस बात के बावजूद इंतजामिया को वहां कहा गया है कि अगर कहीं पर भी इसमें कानून के खिलाफ कोई बात हुई हो, अपनी तहकीकात मुकम्मल करके अगर जरूरत पड़े तो मामला पुलिस के हवाले किया जाए, पुलिस उसके बाद अपनी तहकीकात करेगी।
उमर अब्दुल्ला साहब, मैंने बहुत बार कहा है कि वो बाहर भी झूठ बोलते हैं, हाउस में भी झूठ बोलते हैं। ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है? आपके घर के, आपके रिश्तेदारों के इस होटल में इतना बड़ा फंक्शन हो रहा है और आपको नहीं पता। और जिस गुलमर्ग के लिए बड़े आप इंटरेस्टेड रहते हैं, स्कीइंग खेलने के लिए, घूमने के लिए हर वक्त, मुझे लगता है कि ये प्रोग्राम तो आपने ही इनडायरेक्टली ऑर्गेनाइज कराया होगा। और आज जब बात उठी रिलीजियस लोगों से, शायद वहाँ पे मुझे नहीं उस बात की जानकारी, आज आप हाउस को बोल रहे हैं मैं इंक्वायरी करवाऊंगा। इंक्वायरी आप कराएं अपने घर वालों की, अपने रिश्तेदारों की जिन्होंने ये प्रोग्राम कराया। दूसरे सबसे बड़ी बात, वहाँ पे जो शराब की बात उठी है, जो सेवन हुआ है, क्योंकि इसमें बार तो नहीं है, दैट मीन्स शॉर्ट टर्म बार लाइसेंस दी होगी, तो वो शॉर्ट टर्म बार लाइसेंस के मिनिस्टर भी यही है देने में।
देखिए, रमज़ान के पाक महीने में ऐसी चीज़ करना, और मैंने खुद फोटोग्राफ्स देखी, इतनी अश्लील, वल्गर, ऑब्सीन, खुले आम आप बर्फ पे अपने मॉडल्स की वॉकिंग करा रहे हैं, तो कहीं ना कहीं जो एनसी सरकार है उनको जिम्मेवारी लेनी पड़ेगी। आपके होते हुए ये हुआ है। आप हर एक चीज से अपना हाथ धोना चाहते हैं, आप कहते हैं ये हमारे डोमेन में नहीं है, लेकिन हम सब जानते हैं कि जो हमारे चीफ मिनिस्टर हैं उनके अंडर टूरिज्म आता है, और ऑब्वियसली ये किसी होटल ने ही ऑर्गेनाइज किया है। तो हाउ इज इट कि विदाउट हिज नॉलेज ये सारी चीजें हुई हैं? दोनों चीजें खराब है। अगर उमर साहब को नहीं पता था तो उनको कैसे नहीं पता था, और अगर उनको पता था तो उन्हें कैसे होने दिया? रमजान के पाक महीने में हमारी भी अपनी सेंसिबिलिटीज हैं।
And another reaction has come in from the Grand Mufti of Jammu and Kashmir, Nasirul Islam, who's condemned the recent fashion show in Gulmarg and has called it cultural invasion. He emphasized that such events are unacceptable and warned that if they continue, there will be retaliation in Kashmir. Listen in.
किस तरह से देख रहे हैं इस कंट्रोवर्सी को जो गुलमर्ग में हुई?
ये कंट्रोवर्सी नहीं है, ये हकीकत है, और इस हकीकत के पीछे अज़ाइम है, और अज़ाइम बड़े ख़तरनाक है। लिहाजा हम उन अज़ाइमों को खाक में मिला देंगे। हम ये नहीं चाहते हैं कि हमारी लड़कियां भी कल जाके रक्स कर लें, हमारे लड़के शराब पिएं, हमारी सकाफत ख़राब हो। ये ज़मीन अतकिया की है, ये सूफिया की है, ये औलिया की ज़मीन है। इस ज़मीन पे बेहुदगी नहीं चलेगी, इस ज़मीन को हम नापाक नहीं होने देंगे, चाहे इसके लिए हमें अपनी जानों का नजराना भी पेश करना पड़े। लिहाजा गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को मैं ये वार्न करता हूँ कि मुकम्मल तौर पे वार्न करता हूँ कि इन जैसे हरकत को फौरी तौर बंद किया जाए, और जो लोग ये ख्वाब देखते हैं कि हम कश्मीर की सकाफत को मिलामेट करेंगे, इन्वेजन करेंगे, कल्चरल इन्वेजन, दे आर लिविंग इन फूल्स पैराडाइज एंड दे शुड अंडरस्टैंड दैट वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू एक्सेप्ट एनी सच थिंग इन फ्यूचर।
वहीं पर अगर हम बात कर लें, इस पे पॉलिटिकल मुद्दे भी उठे हैं। कई सारे लोग ये कह रहे हैं कि जब तक वहाँ के लोकल एमएलए या स्टेक होल्डर से परमिशन नहीं ली होगी तब तक इस तरीके के इवेंट्स नहीं हो सकते थे वहाँ पे।
जिसने इसकी इजाज़त दी है, सबसे पहले मैं गवर्नमेंट से यही अपील करूंगा, सीईओ ऑफ गुलमर्ग को बिल्कुल बर्खास्त कर दिया जाए एंड ही शुड बी सेंट होम, और उसको घर भेजा जाए, और उसके खिलाफ बाज़ाब्ता इंक्वायरी कमीशन मुनक्कद होना चाहिए, लगना चाहिए। इस मौजू के पीछे कल्चरल इन्वेजन का मंसूबा है, लिहाजा इसको हम बर्दाश्त नहीं करेंगे। वी आर नॉट going to accept this.
Okay, so there you heard from the Grand Mufti of Jammu and Kashmir said this kind of a show is completely unacceptable in Jammu and Kashmir, sends a wrong precedent, and most importantly, he says this points to cultural invasion in the Union Territory. Going across to Ishan Mani, who joins us live with more details. Ishan, you know, the war of words was also witnessed in the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly, while the Chief Minister came out to say very clearly that this is not allowed, not just in the holy month of Ramadan, but otherwise as well. There are questions being asked by the BJP, but are all political parties speaking in one voice when it comes to these kind of fashion shows in the Union Territory?
Well, absolutely right. What opposition is speaking in one voice at least. They are calling for an action and questioning that what really was the Chief Minister doing when he holds the portfolio of tourism as well. because Gulmarg is a famous ski resort, and the BJP believes that without the knowledge of Chief Minister, and their allegations are that the event was hosted in the property of one of Umar Abdullah's relatives, very close relatives, and that's their primary allegation, and they should be inquiring about that as well. While the Chief Minister yesterday said there will be an inquiry, and the similar statements he made on the floor of the House today. But the fact is that photo shoots have taken place in Kashmir. As I said to you earlier, that there are photo shoots which have taken place. Even in autumn this year, there was photo shoot of a big named brand that took place in Nishat and Shalimar Gardens during the autumn time. But what is inappropriate, according to people and those who are criticizing it, is the sort of attire they were wearing. For Shivam and Naresh is their ski resort collection that they were trying to display on their 15th anniversary of work. This label has been working on this collection for a while, and they wanted to showcase in the peaks of Kashmir Valley, in the snowy covered peaks of Gulmarg. But what led to the entire controversy was sort of attire that certain models were wearing, which has been termed by certain people as a nude attire, and that hasn't gone down well. And people are saying that considering the Kashmir's that sanctity of culture and a religious ethos of being a Sufi and known as a Sufi and saints place, where it has had a deep influence on its cultural values, that such kind of shows should not have been allowed to take place, because Kashmir sees hundreds of movies being shot every year, and photo shoots also take place. There are couples now even coming to Kashmir to do their pre-wedding shoots, but that hasn't ever faced criticism. But why this shoot has faced criticism is because of the sort of attire that they were wearing, and plus the BJP and other political parties are now doing politics over it, and they're questioning a Chief Minister because he holds the portfolio of tourism, and are seeking answers from him that whether the serving of liquor outside was there a permission, who has given that permission, and the fact should be stated very clear, because earlier it was Lieutenant Governor who used to head the GAD, but now it is the Chief Minister, because all these departments fall under him, so he has to answer to really who gave them permission. And the fact is that if you technically speak, if this show has been held on a private property, then you don't technically need a permission to host this show, but if it is done on a government property, then definitely you need a permission, and you need to understand the cultural sensitivity of a place like Kashmir, and that too during the month of Ramadan, where people fast from dawn to dusk, and particularly in these months. So yes, all of this is surrounding this controversy, but now it will be interesting to see what kind of statements does come in from the Chief Minister, or the sort of inquiry that he has set in motion, and asked for a 24-hour time to get all these answers and see that who really provided all the infrastructure, and who really permitted such kind of activity taking place. And plus there were certain shots that we recognize being taken through drone, and Kashmir being a restricted place and Gulmarg being close to the line of control and Indian Army civil installation being there, was the permission given to allow drone to shoot there? That is also something which needs to be seen, and all of these questions will now be answered when this inquiry comes out, and if at all we get these answers from the government, and if they are serious enough to answer these questions, they will definitely come out with some answer within 24 hours, which will pass tonight, and we might have some answers for all of these questions by tomorrow, if the government is really serious on them. But yes,
so a lot
opposition
of questions really pointed towards the Chief Minister, given that he's in charge of the tourism department, whether or not permission was sought, was it supposed to be sought, was this a fashion show, or had this fashion show taken place on a private property, and most importantly, the other divergent view that's come in of how there should be acceptance for all kind of views and thoughts. That's another interesting take that's come in. Thank you, Ishan, though, for getting us all of those details and the several reactions that have come in, but let's play them out as well for our viewers.
उमर साहब ने उस पर अपना बयान भी दे दिया है, और उमर साहब ने उसकी इंक्वायरी भी इनिशिएट जब कर दी है, तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि मुझे इससे ज्यादा कुछ बोलना चाहिए.
Should not have happened. Jammu and Kashmir is a place of Sufi saints, जिसको हम कहते हैं ऋषि और मुनियों का स्टेट है. ऐसे इंसिडेंट्स इवन नॉर्मल सर्कमस्टांसेस में भी सेमी न्यूड शो जम्मू कश्मीर में नहीं होना चाहिए. दिस इज नॉट एक्सेप्टेबल. अब उमर साहब ने इसका एक कॉग्निजेंस लिया है, देखते हैं, रिपोर्ट मांगी है, रिपोर्ट आ जाए, जिस तरह उमर साहब ने कहा एक्शन ली जाएगी. उसके
हुई ना बात, अभी तो बात हुई है, नहीं होना चाहिए इस तरह के हरकत, इस तरह की सिचुएशन जो इस माह रमजान मुतबरक महीने में नहीं होनी चाहिए. जो गुलमर्ग में हुआ गलत हुआ, नहीं होना चाहिए.
मोदी जी की, अमित शाह जी की, केंद्र सरकार की
सोच है कि किस तरीके से कश्मीर में वो दिन वापस आए, कश्मीर में पुरअमन हो, शांति हो, और उसके लिए लगभग जब से 11 वर्षों से दिल्ली के अंदर सरकार बनी है और खासकर 5 अगस्त 2019 के बाद लगभग कश्मीर में एक शांति का माहौल और पूरी देश और दुनिया के लोग कश्मीर में जाना चाहते हैं और उसी को लेके उन्हीं हालात को वापस लाने के लिए इस तरीके के प्रोग्राम ऑर्गेनाइज किए जा रहे हैं। लेकिन कुछ लोग जो हैं आज भी कश्मीर के अंदर शांति नहीं चाहते हैं, पुरअमन नहीं चाहते हैं और कश्मीर का माहौल में एक बेहतरी नहीं चाहते हैं। तो उन लोगों की आदत है, उन लोगों के खिलाफ भी कार्रवाई होगी जो लोग इस तरीके के बिना मतलब के इशू बनाकर और कश्मीर का माहौल खराब करने की कोशिश करते हैं।
And now we move on to more breaking news coming in. This is news with regards to the US promising or vowing retaliatory tariffs. And in the latest, we're learning that amid this tariff war that's been waged by President Donald Trump of the United States of America, the Foreign Secretary here will be briefing the Standing Committee for External Affairs. The Commerce Secretary will also brief MPs on the entire tariff dispute. Do remember, hours ago, we also heard President Donald Trump on the fact that India had agreed to cut its tariffs way down. That's the comment that came in from the president. But the MEA came out with a clarification and said that the bilateral trade pact agreed upon, the two sides were still ongoing. Conversations were still taking place. They were in the developing stage still. I want to go across to Payal Mehta, who joins us with more details. Payal, do tell us about the Foreign Secretary and his plans on briefing the Standing Committee for External Affairs. Is this routine or has this been a special meeting that's been called?
This is obviously a routine briefing because the Foreign Secretary anyways was supposed to brief the Parliament Committee with demand of grants also being taken up as well. But the most important aspect today of the briefing will be the presence of for the Trade and Commerce Secretary, who is going to be present. In fact, is deposing before the committee just as we speak, Kritsween. It's about the tariff war that we actually currently have with US, and multiple MPs had expressed a lot of concern about this. They wanted clarity from the government. So the chairman of the committee, in fact, called for the Trade Secretary to appear before the committee. The committee chairman is Dr. Shashi Tharoor, an External Affairs Minister in the past himself as well. So obviously he is hoping that the members will get a lot of clarity, because there's still a lot of grey areas of, what a tariff will be with the US, how will we be handling the situation. Multiple members of parliament have expressed their concern of the entire matter, how it will impact India. We've seen the back and forth going forth with the US and multiple countries, like the US-Canada relations, the US-Mexico relations as well. And India has been a great trade partner of the US. And we've also seen foreign affairs minister also speak on the entire issue multiple number of times. We've just seen Piyush Goyal, the commerce minister of the country, just returned back from his visit to the US. So all of these things are going to be extremely important, because like I said, a lot of members, especially within the opposition, had multiple questions to ask. We are hoping that, the Commerce Secretary will be answering to the questions that the members really have. And that's the reason that he's appearing before the committee today.
So, Commerce Minister, like you rightly pointed out, also returning from the week-long US visit where he did interact with the Commerce Secretary. Thank you, Payal, for joining us with all those details. We head into a very quick break with that. Lots more lined up when we return.
Brought to you.
In first place, the next Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, with 131,674 votes, resulting in 29,457 allocated points, representing 85.9% of the vote.
My government will put into action our plan to build a stronger economy, to create new trading relationships with reliable trading partners, and to secure our borders. There's someone who's trying to do the opposite. There's someone who's trying to weaken our economy. Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, as we know, has put, as the Prime Minister just said, unjustified tariffs on what we build, on what we sell, on how we make a living. He's attacking Canadian families, workers, and businesses, and we cannot let him succeed. And we won't. We won't. The Canadian government has rightly retaliated and is rightly retaliating with our own tariffs that will have maximum impact in the United States and minimum impact here in Canada. And my government will keep our tariffs on until the Americans show us respect. The Americans want our resources, our water, our land, our country. Think about it. If they succeeded, they would destroy our way of life. In America, healthcare is a big business. In Canada, it is a right. America is not Canada. And Canada never, ever will be part of America in any way, shape, or form. Look, we didn't ask for this fight. We didn't ask for this fight. But Canadians are always ready when someone else drops the gloves. So the Americans, they should make no mistake, in trade as in hockey, Canada will win. So Donald Trump thinks he can weaken us with his plan to divide and conquer. Pierre Poilievre's plan will leave us divided and ready to be conquered. Because a person who worships at the altar of Donald Trump will kneel before him, not stand up to him. I know that these are dark days. Dark days brought on by a country we can no longer trust. We are getting over the shock, but let us never forget the lessons. We have to look after ourselves, and we have to look out for each other. We need to pull together. When we come together, we build things that last because we are Canada strong. Vive le Canada! Merci tout le monde.
In first place, the next Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, with 131,674 votes, resulting in 29,457 allocated points, representing 85.9% of the vote.
My government will put into action our plan to build a stronger economy, to create new trading relationships with reliable trading partners, and to secure our borders. There's someone who's trying to do the opposite. There's someone who's trying to weaken our economy. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, as we know, has put, as the Prime Minister just said, unjustified tariffs on what we build, on what we sell, on how we make a living. He's attacking Canadian families, workers, and businesses, and we cannot let him succeed. And we won't. We won't. The Canadian government has rightly retaliated and is rightly retaliating with our own tariffs that will have maximum impact in the United States and minimum impact here in Canada. And my government will keep our tariffs on until the Americans show us respect. The Americans want our resources, our water, our land, our country. Think about it. If they succeeded, they would destroy our way of life. In America, health care is a big business. In Canada, it is a right. America is not Canada. And Canada never, ever will be part of America in any way, shape, or form. Look, we didn't ask for this fight. We didn't ask for.
Welcome back. We now return with a CNN News 18 exclusive. Central Tibetan Administration, or the CTA in Dharamsala, is commemorating Tibetan Uprising Day. The Tibetan authorities say China is doing everything to erase Tibetan culture, namely derail the succession of the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama, remember, has repeatedly stressed that he alone should decide on the process for his reincarnation. But Chinese propaganda states they have already selected a new Dalai Lama. Tibetans fear that a Chinese successor would hurt their culture. I want to go across to Akanksha Swaroop, who joins us with more details. But a key point of contention for Tibet, like I said, is the succession of the Dalai Lama, a process which is considered sacred in Tibetan Buddhism. While the Dalai Lama, like I said, has already asserted his sole authority on his reincarnation, Tibetans under the Dalai Lama feel that China has propagated the selection of a new Dalai Lama, which has only given rise to these fears once again. They believe a Chinese chosen successor would lack legitimacy and become a pawn to assimilate Tibetan culture into a larger Chinese narrative. So yes, today is the day where the struggle against Chinese oppression, particularly the violent conflict that resulted in tragic loss of life, is remembered by the Tibetans. It stands as a tribute to those who sacrificed themselves for the cause and is being once again seen as an opportunity to fight the Chinese oppression. China's occupation, Tibetans say, has unleashed religious persecution. It's manifested in the destruction of monasteries and also forceful assimilation that they've spoken of time and again, which they say is being done to dilute their identity. Going across to Akanksha Swaroop, who's through with us. Akanksha, no better day than this for the Tibetans under the Dalai Lama to really ponder upon the succession plans that China is already reflecting on. So tell us a little bit about what's being discussed in the camp and what is it that China plans to do as far as choosing the Dalai Lama's successor is concerned.
Right. Prithvi, 10th of March, in fact, commemorates the Tibetan Uprising of 1959, or also known as the Lhasa Uprising, which is when the Dalai Lama, in fact, exited and moved over to India. Ever since, Tibetans have been, in fact, the CTA has been fighting for the rights of Tibet, and they've been consistently calling out the Sinicization of what they call of Tibet and the genocide of the Tibetan culture. As we all know, Chinese propaganda is already talking about bringing in a new successor to the 14th Dalai Lama, which of course the Dalai Lama feels is an infringement upon the rights of the Tibetans. They believe that this is a ploy because the new Dalai Lama, if it were to be brought in by the Chinese, would in fact act like a pawn to the Chinese. And they also think, in fact, the CTA statement that has come out is talking about how the Chinese are now trying to assimilate the Tibetans and the Tibetan culture as part of the Han culture in China. They are also indoctrinating over 1 million children in Chinese boarding schools where there is no emphasis on the culture and the language of the Tibetans. And at the same time, the unchecked mining projects in Tibet by China are causing much harm to the Tibetan environment, which they believe is against not just domestic but also international laws. So this kind of Sinicization of Tibet that's currently taking place unabated, where Tibetans believe in Buddhism. The Buddhism tenets are not being encouraged. What they are calling is a cultural genocide for the Tibetans. They are now trying to assimilate them into the Han culture. At the same time, the Dalai Lama, who has been in India and under the Indian protection, believes that he would want to remain in India because he also believes that India is a democracy which has stood by the Tibetans and for the rights of Tibetans and continues to provide refuge to the Dalai Lama. And the Tibetans or the CTA believe that it is incumbent upon the 14th Dalai Lama, who is very much in Dharamshala, to choose. It is their right to choose who will be the successor to the 14th Dalai Lama.
Several other unchecked activities which have also been spoken of on this day, which holds very dear to the CTA. Many thanks, Akanksha, for joining us with all those details. That's all we could pack for you in this edition of Nation at 5. Thanks for watching. My colleague Poonam Burde takes it from here on Plain Speak. Be right back.
Good evening. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Poonam Burde. The second phase of the budget session began today, and right from the get-go there were fireworks. During question hour, Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan hit out at the DMK-led Tamil Nadu government, accusing them of taking a U-turn in the national education policy. He called the DMK stance uncivilized and undemocratic. That lit the fire immediately, with several DMK MPs walking to the well of the House, raising slogans, demanding what they said was justice, and then eventually walking out. But that did not stop the Education Minister from setting the record straight. DMK then took their protests outside the August House. From calling the Education Minister a liar to moving a privilege motion against him now, the Dravidian party did all they could to keep the pot boiling. The DMK-led Tamil Nadu government has for long insisted that the three-language policy in the national education policy is a backdoor attempt to impose Hindi on the state. But the question really is that true? And are students being held to ransom? Are they losing out because of this politics between the state and the centre? Before we get into that, let's get you some context. Now, after back-to-back attacks by the DMK government, Union Education Minister, like I said today, gave it back, and it was a no-holds-barred attack that happened on the floor of the lower house. M.K. Stalin, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, was quick to hit back with a retort, and here's how it all transpired. Reiterating that the Stalin government took a U-turn on the national education policy, the Education Minister accused the government of politicizing the whole issue. On the back foot, but still keeping the aggressive stance, M.K. Stalin said that Pradhan thinks of himself as an arrogant king. Dharmendra Pradhan had said that the future of students is being jeopardized because of DMK's politics. To which M.K. Stalin replied that the Education Minister needs to be disciplined